What's going on, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with some more unboxing videos. I was going to go live this afternoon and unbox all these goodies that I've gotten over Instagram and YouTube auctions mainly, but unfortunately the internet's down. And come to find out, I'm going to need a new router, so I chose to go ahead and open them because I'm like a kid before Christmas. Can't wait to open it. And pre-record this so that I could have the best of both worlds. So hopefully everybody is doing swell. Swell? Do people even say swell anymore unless they're swelling? That's what you do in between Christmas and Thanksgiving. Swell. Swell. Or when you get hit by a truck and you're laying on the side of a hot interstate. Swell. But no, swell as in doing well and staying healthy out there. I know a lot of people are getting back to work, and that is fantastic. In either case, there's still a lot of people that are at home watching YouTube, among other things, doing a lot of these auctions, and so yeah, I can take advantage of it. So these came from Jay Blitz, and so Jay Blitz often sells on Z Collect's channel. He does on some other stuff too, but basically Z's. He did one, I think, on his personal channel. And between him and Hack and Z, I usually have random boxes coming through. So if you remember my last video that I'd done, that the box was damaged in, well, let me rephrase that. You remember the video that I'd done where the box was damaged in? I'm still waiting to get resolution on that. You know, Jay Blitz, to his credit, said, "Hey man, send me the books back. I'll refund you your money." But I was like, man, I don't want to get rid of these books. So I thought I might could have the best of both worlds. So I was like, well, hey, instead, why don't you just file the claim because you got the insurance, right? So we're still going through with that, hopefully get some resolution there. So been doing some filler stuff with my X-Men runs, in particular the Uncannies, and I went through there the other day in the CLZ app and notated direct as opposed to newsstand, or if it was a Mark Jewelers, you know, notated that. So then that way, if I get on an auction and I see one pop up, I can go straight to my CLZ app and know for certain. Because before, I was like running over there to the box and okay, that's a newsstand. Sometimes it notates it. It's already got a pre-notated copy, if that makes sense, in CLZ, and then sometimes not so much. So it was hit or miss. And then by the time I get back to the auction, somebody's done swooped it up if it was something worth keeping. So I went and done that, and got a bunch of X-Men from him on that. So how about some 90s goodness to start us off? Some Jim Valentino Shadowhawk. You know, after the first series, and then they rebooted the series a couple different times, and he was a black guy that had AIDS. You know, I mean, it seemed like a pretty cool storyline, but I think it just fell at the wrong time in history, so to speak. Got a Darth Vader #1 variant cover. Luke, I am your father. It's kind of fitting that this comes in on May the 4th, which is when I'm taping it. Don't know if this is when I'm going to be dropping this video, but it's when I'm taping it. So there you go. The Rise of Kylo Ren, the 3rd printing. I already got this. Well, I got the first printing, but it was on the cheap. Cool cover. It's like kind of a grayish color. And I thought the lightsabers kind of pop, so picked it up. Then we got, this is Ryan Kincaid's Joker cover. I'll add it to my repertoire, as it were, for my Joker covers over there. Then I got Uncanny X-Men 131. This, I believe, is the first appearance of the White Queen. Don't scold me in the comments if it's not. This is a direct edition. I already have a direct edition, but this was in with all my other stuff, so I kind of just got it because I got X-Men 188 newsstand. $191 newsstand, $185 newsstand, $180 newsstand, $178 newsstand, and $146 newsstand. So I like I've said before, I don't typically hold on to a lot of extra copies of any one book, unless there's some kind of difference between it and the other books. But in the case of X-Men, I know a lot of other people that are out there that are collecting X-Men, so I decided, hey, if I pick it up, I'm going to put it in my back. I'll record it in CLZ that I have multiple copies of it, so that should the chance come to pass, I either sell it or AOK it to somebody, that type of thing is where I'm at with that. Got Uncanny X-Men 244. This is the direct edition. This is the first appearance of Jubilee and the Reavers, maybe? The copy I had gotten from the con that I went to was just beat to smack. I only paid $4 for it after I pulled it out, and the guy goes, "Oh, well, it's a lot worse than what I thought it was." This is an Unknown Comics exclusive, number 348 of 600. This is X-Men number 5, the Dark Phoenix Virgin variant. Pretty cool. Batman the Dark Knight, number 0. Little David Finch goodness on the Batman right there. I don't know how well my microphone's picking up, but it sounds like somebody is not very happy in there. It sounds like it's about nap time. Is it nap time for you peoples? Don't you know I'm trying to make quality content in here? Anyhow, got Powers of X, number 5, the Scotty Young variant. Magneto and Cyclops talking to Krakoa. I like the whole just let it grow look. I'm saying maybe let Slim give you an eye laser shape up. He's got a little mustache going on. Let it grow, let it grow. Hopefully I don't get trademark infringement. No, that was that bad that they would just go. He didn't even really try. Sabretooth number 4, the Tix area. Mark or Mike Tixeria. Probably butchered his last name, but he's the guy I really know more for Ghost Rider back in the day. And got some cons on the lineup, provided a lot of these things are up by then that he's going to be at. And I've got a first issue of Sabretooth. I was going to get the die cut cover. I was going to get him to sign, and this was a 4-issue miniseries, so I said, hey, what the heck, it's $1. I already got stuff shipped, so it wasn't like I was buying it just to pay $9 worth of shipping, and that's what I try to do. If you go to the same guys over and over again, those guys on Z Collect Show, Jay Blitz, Hack, and Z, they'll just build you a box and say you just keep letting it build up to where it gets a big enough size where it kind of makes sense for you to ship it, because, I hate to. And sometimes I do. I'll tell them to go ahead and send it out. I won't buy nothing else. Wink, wink. I'm just fooling myself, because then I turn right around and buy something else. And then they go, I just mailed you a box out today. It's like, well, don't argue about it. I'm the one paying for shipping costs. You just sell books. Be quiet and sell books. Got some of these legal things I found out as an aside for mailing these things. I've been mailing them in Gemini mailers, and then I get the bills for mailing them. I'm like, I can pay more attention to this, because it was way more expensive. Because if you can mail priority, which gives you $50 worth of insurance, and a tracking number is part of the package, but if you don't mail it inside those envelopes, they don't give you the flat rate. And so it's based on where it's going and how heavy it is. And so I was getting dinged pretty significantly for that. That sounds like, well, that's just common sense. Why don't you know that? Well, when do you mail stuff out anymore? Found since I started doing all this, I've been doing that a lot more for the sell or send AOKs out, that type of thing. But, well, it sounds like we're going to get new comic book day, at least on a limited front. and hopefully ramp back up in the next couple of weeks. I think that I've decided, so don't hold me to it, but I think I've pretty much decided that a lot of my new buyings are going to be cut back. I don't know if that's probably not going to be good for those guys like Marvel and DC. They're trying to ramp things back up, or for the comic shop owners for that matter, because they really need some funds right now. But I've been buying more used stuff. Trying to remember. Okay. So I bought this off of Instagram, and so similarly to the way that I do on the YouTube auction, you find one seller, and then they'll let you build a box up. But you really can't do that on Instagram, and then you got to put claim out there, and if you don't put claim, somebody else is going to end up doing it. So what I do, if I see one book, I go to their profile, and then I see, okay, these people got all these different books. I think I got enough to fill a box up. Then I'll go from there. Sometimes you might miss out on deals, but I'd rather miss out on a deal because there's other ones elsewhere than have to be putting $9 on one comic book that's worth $5, right? If it's a Hulk 181, that's one thing, but not that I would know anything about that because I haven't officially revealed anything about that yet. But yeah. So same thing with J Blitz. Largely, this is an Uncanny X-Men lot. Picking up the newsstands, so got that. 252. Got 250. 249. 247. That's when Rogue gets pulled into the Siege Perilous portal, and she looks a lot different when she comes out. I noticed that. This is 245. This is kind of the scandalous edition here. This is the one Jean Grey is actually nude in. You really can't tell it. Can't really tell it, but it's also got some various DC characters and stuff like that they dropped in. Largely a pun issue. Batman 250, some 20-cent goodness. Not in the greatest of shape, but it's only a few bucks, and it was in that same package. Picked this one up too. Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man number 19, newsstand, and a Mark Jewelers variant. That's one of the reasons why I picked up some of these, because they were on the cheap too. If it was too expensive, I'm not that concerned with having a direct and a newsstand for every single issue during that time of which that is availability. I'm not that interested in it, but if I can get them on the cheap, I'll do that. So Uncanny X-Men 220, little Forge action slobbering all over the cover. I'm Forge. 233, The Brood, throw in something at Colossus. And then 240, little X-Men Inferno. This is when Madeline Pryor becomes the Goblin Queen, and Mr. Sinister's plans were in full swing. Mr. Sinister. Oh, that's a different villain, isn't it? All right. More action. So this one is from Keep It Thorough. And he has an auction on his channel. He's on Chat RCG. He's on several different auctions. And it was funny because he asked me, he said, do you want me to hold it? What I was talking about earlier? Yeah. He said, well, you want me to hold it? I was like, go ahead and send it to me because it was one book. So this is going to be so cool. And so then when I bought the other book from him, he was like, I already mailed your books out. So yeah, I know, that's on me now. That is totally on me, but I want to, so I ended up buying some more books from him. So this is the first batch, it looks like. So this was it was funny because I had seen this book on another auction, and it kind of went for some crazy money. I was like, that's cool, but I don't know that it's that cool, right? And so I was just telling my wife about it that day, and then that night they had an auction, and there it was on the auction, so it was kind of fortuitous. So it looks like you threw a few freebies in there for me. So appreciate that. Regardless of whether it's something that I keep or whether it's something I sell off on another auction somewhere, it's always a nice gesture. So this is the Crow Hack and Slash 1. It's the Virgin variant, limited to 600 copies. 600 copies. Ain't that awesome looking? So if you were a child of the 90s and you remember that, and of course Brandon ended up dying as a result of, what do you think it's, whatever you think is, whether it was a conspiracy or whatever you think it was. I was looking on here to see the number because it says limited to 600 copies. Usually when they do that, normally they'll number it. Do not see it. Now, according to this, it says cover art was by Mike Crutchfield, but according to the CLZ app, it said Tim Seeley. So he might be doing the writing and he might be doing the interior work, not the exterior work. I thought that would be pretty awesome to get that signed in like red, kind of like a Joker vibe to it, or even black would be cool. And get that slabbed. Be pretty awesome. So cool addition to the PC. Something a little outside of the norm. So these are the books that he threw in there for free. So shout out to Keep It Thorough. Superman and the Outsiders number 26. Dark Stars number 9. New Shadowhawk number 3. Funny, we were just talking about Shadowhawk and relaunches. And then Shadowhawk, The Monster Within, Part 4, guest starring the others. This is number 15. New Men. This is some 90s Image stuff. Number 2. And then New Men, number 1. Then Leonard Nimoy's Primordials, number 4. Of course, Leonard Nimoy, best known as being Spock. And then Rob Liefeld, X-Force number 5. So, pretty cool. Yeah, you probably threw that in there more than anything. It would be easier to keep it safe, packing more books than just that one in that package. But hey, I appreciate the gesture either way. Because if it ends up being something that I did not, because it's thought counts first and foremost, and then if it's something I don't keep, I'll sell it. So, no harm, no foul for sure. So this next package is from Tacoma Comics, which he will randomly do auctions on various channels like Discovery Bay and the like. And so he had sent out a message saying, hey, everybody got their package? I said, no, I didn't get my package. And there has been in certain areas delays in shipping, but for me personally, I haven't really faced a lot of that, thankfully. Certain areas I have, but most areas not so much. Mostly the delay is related to people not mailing it in a proper time. Not to say that was his, but I'm just saying. So, this was a lot of books, and I already had the Phalanx series. Put them like this. So these Phalanx series, I had the direct editions. These are newsstands. This was one of the books I wanted in there, though. Wilson Cavage Magneto from back in the day. Thought that was pretty cool. So Uncanny X-Men 317, X-Force 38. I believe these are all newsstands. And Uncanny X-Men 316 and Excalibur 71. This was one of the bigger books that I wanted. West Coast Avengers number 14. Hawkeye going, hey, ladies. But that was 25th anniversary cover. Been kind of soft collecting those. Not really going out on eBay and doing anything crazy, but I'll just watch the auctions, and as one comes up, I'll pick it up if I can get it on cheap. And lastly, maybe when I see it, I'll recognize it. So, what have y'all been picking up? Hopefully, everybody is staying safe and is gainfully employed still through this. Probably working from home a little more than what you might be used to or like. But hey, if you're employed, you're alive, you're healthy, you've got something to be thankful for. So, and then if you got comics, another thing to be thankful for. So, curious, and be sure to leave it down in the chats as to whether or not everybody's been picking up. Now that is a. I'm gonna keep this one. Two brothers, keep this. Definitely could use that. So throw that in here. Told my wife the other day because I sold a bunch of comics. I was on a couple different auctions. Put some stuff on IG. Be sure to check it out if you haven't. Especially if you like Spider-Man. Got a bunch of stuff up there. But anyway, so I was packaging all the stuff up. And so I was coming to the end because I keep all the bubble wrap and the boxes and stuff. And so I was coming to the end of it and I told my wife, I said, I guess time to buy more stuff because I'm out of packing supplies. And she was like, couldn't you just buy packing supplies? Not near as fun. But I said, never fear. I got some more stuff coming in. And such was today. So all these right here, some of these were ones that came in today, but what I try to do, you see my great filing system that I use. I try to make myself a note, and that way I can kind of keep up and make sure not that anyone would do that. You would hope. But give me an example. I didn't have to have it because I bought it off eBay, but it's still an example. Golden Apple Comics in Los Angeles. Got to looking at it, and the only reason I noticed it was because they sent me a notification saying, hey, this has arrived. And I said, that book hasn't arrived. All the rest of them had, but that one. So I contacted them, and to their credit, they said, hey, we'll get it right out. So I said, really? But yeah, so if I hadn't got that, or if I hadn't had that note, I wouldn't have remembered that. I mean, because you're sitting there, at least I am, on this auction, that auction, looking at IG and finding all this stuff, and it's like, no, eventually it comes in. So I try to have some, and while you're running through that, you're trying to scribble notes. So this is Uncanny X-Men 342. This is a variant. I don't remember the name of the variant. This is Exile State. So he sells on Strictly Comics' auctions on Sunday night. And this was the main reason why I got this lot, because I did not have this variant to fill out my Uncanny X-Men run. So this is Rogue. So that's the main reason. These other ones are variants as well. They're more Hulk related variants. I know some people that like some Hulk, so I'm going to check it out. But this is the Rampaging Hulk number 2. Who is the mysterious creature whose power rivals Hulk? I don't know. The Incredible Hulk 447, a bold new chapter in the great life. This is a Mike Deodato cover, but I'll have to check out and see what else is cool with that. Secret Wars number 5. These were all variants that were thrown in there. Again, the real reason why I got that was that right there. So there you have it, folks. Probably have stuff out through it this week, depending on my schedule, which is kind of hectic this week. Might just wait till get a whole bunch together and put out another video. But in the meantime, hopefully you took some joy in my collecting. And I didn't mention it beforehand, but I'll mention it now. If you haven't already, please smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell, that when videos like this and others that I do are dropped, you'll be one of the first ones to know. In the meantime, stay safe out there, keep reading, and keep collecting. Adios.